GM, good morning. Welcome to the Milk Road Show, the daily crypto show that's as rare as finding someone who actually reads the terms and conditions. I'm your host, Jay Hamilton, and today we are joined by good friend and legendary crypto investor, Lark Davis. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the race to buy Bitcoin that is happening right now. Where's Bitcoin at, and where are we going as corporate and institutions are piling in? Did you miss the last pump? Here's how you might get ahead of the next one. We're going to talk about opportunities that we see. And then we're also going to review some altcoin season indicators and talk about how you can position your portfolio to take advantage of opportunities. Also, if you want to position yourself to take advantage of opportunities, right now is Black Friday at Milk Road. It's our biggest sale of the year. We're giving you 40% off Milk Road Pro. Plus, if you buy the annual plan, we'll give you our investing masterclass, which is valued at $500 for free. We'll give it to you for free. The discounts are crazy. I can't believe we're doing this. The milkman has lost his mind. If you go pro, you're going to get so much. But most importantly, one of the things that I love that is not so well known is every week you're going to get where are we in the cycle indicators. These are charts that show you where we are in the cycle and help you decide when to start to sell, to take profits in this cycle. The hardest thing for every investor to do. And we want to help you guys do that. So hit the QR code or hit the link in the show notes and go pro today if you're not already. Before we jump in and hear from Lark, we just need to take a moment to hear from our sponsors who make the show possible. Do you own your data? Nope. Every post, click, and search you make is controlled and monetized by unseen giants. I've had enough. It's time for Navigate, where their mission is to give back data ownership to you and share profits with you. That's right, money in your pocket. How, you ask? First, the Navigate browser extension makes it easy to turn your everyday browsing into passive income. Second, the Data Quest game, where you can boost your earnings and help train their AI. Visit navigate.io today to earn and own your data. Meet Uphold, a trading platform that's changing the way you think about money. Imagine this, earning up to 4.9% APY on your US dollars. No catches, no lockup periods, and no fees. And yes, it's FDIC insured up to $2.5 million. They offer access to over 300 digital assets, which you can trade, store, and exchange with confidence, knowing Uphold operates with a 100% reserve and a transparent model. Create your account, fund it with a few taps, and you're ready to go. Click the link in the description and join Uphold today. Lark, my man, what's going on?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. It's been a crazy, crazy time for Bitcoin. Over $90,000. Just chilling. Over $90,000. Who would have thought? Just relaxing, old man Bitcoin on the rocking chair, having a smoke, chilling.
Times are good. Times are good when Bitcoin chills over 90,000. Okay, let's start with Bitcoin is really heating up in the race on the corporate side. Let's talk about that. What's going on with corporations buying Bitcoin right now?
So there's two fascinating things going on right now. It's the corporate side and actually the country side. And those are both wildly impactful. So on the country side, or sorry, on the company side, it's absolutely nuts what's going on right now. So MicroStrategy, they bought another almost $5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And then immediately Michael Saylor announces we're going to raise another $1.75 billion to buy more Bitcoin, which is insane. Marathon Digital, they're a Bitcoin miner. Interesting stock there, by the way. I don't own any, but might be an interesting play. Marathon Digital, they said they're going to raise $700 million. And then they said, they looked at what Michael Saylor did and they said, crap, we need to up our numbers. So now they're raising $1 billion to buy Bitcoin. So they mine Bitcoin, but they're also borrowing money to buy more Bitcoin. And you have other smaller companies like Metaplanet and Semler Scientific buying Bitcoin as well. And of course, we have the Microsoft shareholder vote going on soon about whether or not Microsoft is going to start buying Bitcoin. If that happens, that just breaks everything beyond belief. And MicroStrategy has become this Bitcoin investment vehicle, right? And it's been very, very successful. The stock has hit new all-time highs after 25 years. It's insane. But if Microsoft starts buying Bitcoin, it completely changes the game. It shatters all existing thought processes and models. Like, oh yeah, Tesla, they're a technology company, then buying Bitcoin. Okay, fine. Oh, MicroStrategy. Oh no, Microsoft Because when Microsoft does it, Apple's got to do it. When Apple's got to do it, everyone else is, NVIDIA is going to have to get some Bitcoin. Everyone else is going to have to get some Bitcoin. You're going to run out real fast. And that's just half the picture, because we researched and recorded a video today about the country FOMO going on. And we know now what's going on is that there's so many countries currently mining Bitcoin confirmed, the UAE, Ethiopia, Bhutan, El Salvador, Russia, right? All confirmed mining Bitcoin. But here's the thing. We've had a very few different high-level sources from people like David Bailey at Bitcoin Magazine. And these are guys who, they don't really bullshit about this kind of stuff. Literally out there saying that there is a country right now front-running America's Bitcoin reserve. So this whole America strategic Bitcoin reserve thing. And you got to remember, we talked about this thing was in the last episode, or the episode before that, where all these pro-crypto politicians, we had 250 pro-crypto politicians that have been elected to get into the House and the Senate. Game changing, because when that bill comes up to add Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset, Brian Armstrong and the guys over the Satoshi Action Fund, like Dennis Porter and stuff like that, these guys did some serious work on flipping these seats into pro-crypto politician seats. And it's all set up now for the potential for the American Bitcoin reserve to actually happen. And whether it happens or not, the fact is, there is a country currently front-running the United States on its Bitcoin strategic reserve, a country that doesn't need to have congressional approval, that can just do it. So that means it's probably someone that doesn't need checks and balances, like the Saudis doing it, or the Qataris doing it, or, there's maybe the Swiss or the Singaporeans, but somebody's doing it, because those guys said, yeah, we've got pretty strong confirmations that there's a country out there buying Bitcoin to front run America, which is the big game theory. Everybody's coming for it. The corporations are coming for it. The endowments are coming for it. The pension funds are coming for it. Pennsylvania has announced that they're going to start buying it. They have a $7 billion state sovereign wealth fund. They're going to put 10% into Bitcoin. The guys from, I think it was Bitcoin Magazine, or was it Dennis Porter from the Satoshi Action Fund, said they've got at least 10 other states in the United States that are looking to do the same thing. I mean, holy crap, guys. This is insane.
How early do you think, can you somehow frame or quantify how early we are in terms of corporate Bitcoin in treasury, countries buying Bitcoin, in these institutional funds? Like, there's so many categories here that we're talking about. You think, I don't know, is there a way to quantify that?
It's really hard to quantify, and you have to look at every different category. Like in terms of like sovereign wealth funds or stuff like that, it's very, very small still. In terms of pension funds, very, very small still. We've had a few U.S. states pension funds have added Bitcoin. In terms of corporate adoption, very small still. You've got just a handful of companies at this point globally that have jumped into the Bitcoin waters, right? And again, the fact that somebody like Microsoft, one of the world's top 5 by market cap companies, is talking about it, that's absolutely insane. Because what happens when some Chinese companies see that, or some European companies see that? And we're going to see more companies hop on the Bitcoin bandwagon. It's only a matter of time. And of course, at the country level, if America really does this, every other central bank in the world is suddenly going to have to say to themselves, well, what's our Bitcoin strategy? Why don't we have any Bitcoin? It's just, imagine this. Imagine that gold was invented back in 2009. Okay. First time ever gold was invented. Everybody thought, oh, dumb metal. Who needs this dumb metal rock thing? Nobody wants that. And then slowly but surely it gets more and more adoption. And then suddenly the world's global superpower says, yeah, we're going to buy up, a few percent of the supply of that new thing called gold. Well, that's Bitcoin right now. Okay. Satoshi invented digital gold, and it's here and it's real and people are paying attention.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Bullish. Come on.
This is so bullish. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the ETF stats right now, because man, the Bitcoin ETF, almost 28 billion in total inflows, or total net, sorry. And we've just seen, since the election, we've had 2 days of negative, but we've had 1 day of over a billion, 2 days of over a billion last week. Like, just incredible numbers coming in the Bitcoin ETF. What are you seeing here?
first off, we have to underline a simple reality here is that these kind of inflow numbers are shocking beyond belief because those billion-dollar days bought more than a month's worth of new miner emissions. So one day, just Wall Street, not the countries that are buying, not the corporates that are buying, just Wall Street bought more than a month of new production. You cannot keep having that happen and the price stay in the 90,000 range. It's so funny. Somebody today was like, all this bullish stuff happening, and where's the price at? Like, dude, we're at $90,000. What are you talking about? The price is moving, okay? And it will move again as more of this starts to happen. Look, these Bitcoin ETF inflows have been absolutely wild beyond belief. This is the most successful ETF launch basically in history. It surpassed gold. It took gold 10, 15 years to get to $20 billion. Bitcoin's already beaten it in 1 year, less than a year. It's wild. We're at $28 billion of inflows already. Absolutely crazy things have happened with Bitcoin ETFs, and I think it's only going to get crazier. And now that we have Bitcoin options that I think are listing tomorrow, this only creates more demand for these products, and things are going to get even crazier.
Let's go. What about if we look at the Ethereum ETF quickly? I don't know if that was a positive sound effect that you just gave us or a negative sound effect.
I think it's a Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. I can't remember. It's my stepmom watches one of those programs, and I just hear it's like the you have failed. The sad sound. I don't know. I can't remember which one it is, but I was thinking it's funny. Anyway, look, the reality is the Ethereum ETFs have had nowhere near the level of success that Bitcoin ETFs have had for a variety of reasons. They launched at a much rougher time in the market. Bitcoin ETFs were the narrative. And when they launched immediately after approval, whereas the SEC kind of screwed Ethereum investors where they approved them. And then all the hype that was built around that faded over the almost month or so before they actually got approved for trading. And there was no reason for that except that the SEC is a sore loser and was just being capricious about their approval process. So there's that, okay? And the Ethereum ETFs came out at a very rough time sentiment-wise in the market in the middle of summer, which is usually a low volume, low interest time anyway. So there's all that working against Ethereum ETFs. But, of course, Ethereum ETFs will be bought. Obviously, we're starting to see some inflows trickle in. I imagine that's going to pick up pretty soon, especially once we get a new SEC head, because the current SEC head has denied the ability for these ETFs to run staking. And when you allow these ETFs to have staking revenue, suddenly you have a crypto ETF with a dividend. And that becomes very, very attractive. As the current dividend, staking return is like 3.5% or something like that, right? So things get real exciting real fast in that situation and may get a lot more bid from Wall Street as a result of that.
So if we look at the Bitcoin chart right now, I just got to get your thoughts on where you think Bitcoin's going. We're almost at 93,000. We're so close as we record here. Where do you think we go from here, and any idea of how quickly we go here? You think we got another pump coming before the end of the year?
I think it's very likely. If you look back to how Bitcoin has reacted on previous all-time high breaks. And look, you got to understand, everything's lined up here, okay? We had a beautiful downtrend break. Basically, the whole year has been in a downtrend. We broke that downtrend definitively just a few weeks ago. We have the MACD on a very strong weekly uptrend, and weekly uptrends tend to be very powerful signals for Bitcoin. So we've had this beautiful pump, and in any previous all-time high breaks, minus the ETF one, because that was a bit of a fugazi, if you will. It was just sort of this hype-driven move, not a fundamental-driven move. Right now, we're dealing with a fundamental-driven move because of everything we just talked about, because nation states are buying, because corporations are buying, because ETFs are gobbling up dramatically more Bitcoin than miners can possibly produce. And at some point, the whales just don't have any more to dump on the market, and the price simply has to go up to meet the demand of buyers. That's it. It's just that simple. Supply and demand mechanics for a finite asset. So in the past, when Bitcoin breaks out, it tends to break out with some pretty strong moves. And we've consolidated here for around the last week or so around the $90,000 level. The next move is probably brewing in the not so distant future. And likely by the end of the year, I would say we're going to be well over $100,000. I mean, there's always some macro stuff that can derail the market. Okay. Nothing is certain. I don't have a crystal ball, but if we can make an inference on potential price action based on all the things we've talked about so far, plus the reality of how Bitcoin tends to behave on all-time high breaks, then seeing Bitcoin even at something like 120 or even as crazy as up to 150 in the next 6 weeks is not off the table, because that's the exact kind of move that we made in 2020 when we went from 20,000 to 42,000 in about 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, so maybe it takes a little longer, maybe we don't go quite as high as that, but a significant move will continue to play out as all this stuff continues to light the fire under the market.
So if people missed out on the last pump and they're looking for the next opportunity, what are you thinking about where you think the next opportunity is? It, hey, double down on Bitcoin, there's the big pump there coming, or do you think that we might see more others, altcoins, start to outperform Bitcoin, which we're already seeing?
In 2020, it was pretty interesting because when Bitcoin started and crossed over its previous all-time high from the 2017 cycle, Ethereum was still needed to go 140% higher in order to hit the previous all-time. It was way, way down, right? So we saw a pretty similar situation right now where ETH is still big time under. Obviously, Solana, probably by the time you guys watch this, maybe even hit a new high or is very, very close to hitting a new high. A lot of people saying that Solana is the Ethereum of the cycle, certainly been acting like it price-wise, whereas Ethereum is kind of a bit of an old hat right now, and it's going to perform, and it'll get up to $10,000 to $15,000 at the cycle peak, but it definitely doesn't have that sort of edgy excitement that it did in 2020 and that Solana does now in 2024. So that's something to think about as well. In terms of doubling down on Bitcoin right now, I mean, look, it's always good to buy Bitcoin. I just want to say that. It's always good to buy Bitcoin if you have that sort of long-term mentality where you're just, you're cashing out of fiat and you're cashing into Bitcoin because you want to own digital gold. Fantastic. It's always a good time to buy if you're taking a long time horizon. However, there's two things to keep in mind. My general price prediction for this cycle has been around 200K. Now that may get upset by all of this nation state FOMO. Like if America really does announce that they're going to buy 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years and MicroStrategy rushes their buys and tries to get their front running of America, and then the Saudis are front running the Americans and the Qataris are front running the Saudis and the Americans because they don't want to be left behind. Like suddenly things get a bit crazier than you think they might get otherwise. I've always felt like 200K is on a technical level a very reasonable area, maybe 250K is a peak. Okay, so there's always potential that things get even crazier, although I want to just highlight that that's even dangerous mentality, because this is what happens every cycle where people say, well, because of this, that, or the other thing, it's just going to go so much crazier than everybody expects, and then it doesn't. Okay, so there's that to keep in mind. However, that gives you a sort of a base case scenario, okay? And let's not say like the super mega bull case, and if we do go super mega bull case, that's different, but base case scenario of Bitcoin's going to go max 200% from here, max, right? Maybe even a little less, 170%, 150%, something like that. So in that situation where Bitcoin goes from 93K to 200, 250K, guess what? Altcoins are going to outperform dramatically versus that, right? Both Ethereum and Solana probably have a 2.5 to 3 to 1 beta versus that Bitcoin move. You're going to see stuff like Dog with Hat and Brett and all these sort of big meme coins, or even a lot of the big layer one blockchains that are getting a lot of focus right now, whether that be Aptos or Say or Near
Sui or Near.
Sui. I mean, Sui's gone absolutely crazy. I mean,
it's gone crazy.
This is the thing. If you've been holding Sui this year, you've outperformed most of the crypto sector, right? So there's always these outperformers in crypto. And if you focus on where people are paying attention and where the hype is going, you can outperform Bitcoin. But just sort of passively holding stuff, you're not necessarily going to outperform Bitcoin. There's a lot of altcoins from the last cycle that performed dramatically badly versus Bitcoin in particular, and just underperformed the market more broadly.
Yeah, if we pull up, I just pull up this chart here showing altcoin weekly trading volume, and look at the last week. This is last week. just a massive candle compared to previous. It'd basically been hovering in the 50 to 100 billion range, and then all of a sudden it just spiked up to 300 billion in altcoin trading volume last week. Clearly, altcoin season feels like it's here, it's coming. Like, where do you think we're at?
It's on the way. It never happens as quickly as people want it to, but we will see massive upside volatility for altcoins. And again, like I said, the altcoin move tends to lag about 4 to 6 weeks behind major Bitcoin moves. Okay. So in that situation, I know you might think, well, some altcoins have really moved in the last week. Like, you ain't seen nothing yet, man. Like, some of these things are going to get marked up so much higher. And basically, you're going to see a lot of sort of Burj Khalifa style patterns forming up. And that volume chart is very indicative of that, because essentially what you're seeing, this is like the test pump. That $300 billion move, that's the test pump. Because when the market gets totally crazy, we're going to see trillions of dollars a week in volume in the altcoin markets. And things are going to go a lot crazier than people expect, especially if you haven't been here for a market cycle, or if you just have such intense PTSD from everything that happened in 2022. I get it, man. I get it. I do. It was a painful year. Okay. But you got to flip. You got to flip your bias, because unless World War III happens tomorrow, or the Great Depression is declared tomorrow, which neither of those things seem super likely at the moment, then we're probably going to be okay.
Let's hope neither of those things happen anytime soon. Hopefully
we
not.
Bear
I think you're right.
that happens.
Yeah, I think a black swan event is always possible, but it seems like, I mean, hey, you can't plan for that. So plan for what is in front of us, and what's in front of us is one of the greatest investment opportunities of a generation over the next year. When we look at within altcoins is obviously, I almost don't like the term altcoins anymore, because like it's the most broad term at this point. It worked in past cycles, but now you get into like, is Ethan altcoin, is Solana an altcoin? And then you can go down way down the curve. Within altcoins, within these L1s, any particular narratives that you like, or particular tokens that you like? You and I were talking about Near on the AI side before we started recording today. Maybe we could chat about that, or if there's anything else.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of competition going on right now in the layer one blockchain space, which is obviously, we know about meme coins, we know about all this stuff. That's all fun and a good time, right? But it's actually interesting, because every single cycle, it's fascinating to see, but every single cycle, there are a new host of layer one blockchains that come around and have massive performance. And you can look back in 2017, and it was NEM, and it was Dash, and it was EOS. And then in 2020, we had all kinds of new ones pop up as well. That was Solana. When Solana came around, that was when Avalanche came around. Now we have all these new hot blockchains, Sui, Aptos. We have the Phantom rebrand to Sonic going on, which is a whole new blockchain essentially. We have a Near as well, which I think is very, very interesting. And a lot of these coins are pretty new. They haven't had a bull market yet, so they have that sort of shiny new coin edge still. And I think the Near protocol is a very interesting coin. Now, I own this, by the way, just full transparency for people. I own Near protocol and bought a whole bunch recently, actually swapping my Polkadot position for it, just to freshen up my damn portfolio. You know, I was looking at Polkadot, and no shade on Polkadot. Those guys are trying so hard to deliver good tech, and they are getting traction in a whole bunch of places. But I looked at the price, and I was just like, man, this is insane, because the price of Polkadot at the time that I sold it for Near was almost 50% under the FTX crash. And I was like, man, that was the bottom of the bear market, and the price is down almost 50%. And like Bitcoin's hitting new highs literally right now. Like, this is crazy. So I was like, you know what? It's time to just psychologically freshen bags up here. And I really liked Near protocol, because the guys who built Near have always been AI nerds, and they started Near protocol as an AI blockchain. That was the intent, right? And had to pivot a bit because market wasn't ready for AI yet. Now they are. And so they announced recently an investment of a few $100 million into basically some on-chain AI stuff that's going to be doing like 1.4 trillion inferences, something crazy, bigger than Meta's Llama, which is nuts. And so this is really amazing to see. So this is kind of narrative combination, if you will, right? So layer one blockchains are always hot. New ones are always hot in a new cycle. And this one's got AI on top of it, right? So it's an AI blockchain. And I think there's a similar thing where I've got my research assistant going deep into AI meme coins right now. It's a similar idea. You're taking the two hottest narratives and combining them together. And Near Protocol, I think, fits that as well. You're taking hot new shiny layer one blockchain coin plus very real AI stuff, not bullshit AI. A lot of the AI tokens are just total BS. You got to keep it real. But this is like real AI from real AI devs who got into the blockchain space, right? So I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that could come out of that and the potential for good performance of that particular token. But AI meme coins also a very interesting space to watch. We've seen such an explosion of those recently. And of course, the big ones like GOAT, right? But there's so many interesting new competitors coming up that are even more AI, even more on chain, even more immaculate conception. And so it gets really interesting to see all this stuff happening. But that's, again, a perfect nexus of the two literal hottest topics and the two topics that get the biggest mind share, meme coins and AI.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Something to pay attention to.
Curious with the nearby that you just made. What's the trade? What's the exit plan for that? Because the one thing that is so apparent to me, and having gone through cycles before, is you can really get caught in holding your bag, especially with new L1s or L1s that don't have necessarily the traction that an Ethereum or a Solana have. So what's the trade with Near?
Sure. I mean, look, every single non-Bitcoin coin that I own is going to be cut at the end of the cycle. Every single one.
There you go.
Everything, right? So this is not immune to that. I like it. I think it's a good play. I think it's got good traction for the cycle. Maybe it goes as high as like $50 or something like that, which is about a 10x for my entry price. Fantastic. Okay. It's not probably massive outperformance versus other layer ones, but I like the idea. I like what they're doing. And I think it's going to be a fun coin to hold for the cycle. But make no mistake about it. And this is maybe my final word of advice for everybody here today. When that bear market comes, and it will come, don't let anything fool you into thinking that it's not going to come. It's going to come, and it's going to come real fast. One day it's going to be everybody super mega bullish. Everything's going up forever. Next day, everything's down 30%. And that's it. It's over. Oh, you'll get one more pump back up as sort of a final rally before the real shit hits the fan. But you'll need to get out, because when the bear market comes, it'll be horrific beyond belief. And all these hot new paradigm of money coins are going to go down 90%. The meme coins, we're going to short the crap out of some meme coins. When the market turns, man, all these meme coins were tens of billions of dollars, which will probably be quite a few of them by the end of the cycle. They're going to go down so hard. These things are going to go from like $30 billion market caps to like $30 million market caps. I'm serious. It's going to be nuts, because in spite of the cults and everything else, let me see how good your cult is when the price is down 99%. Really. And the bear market's here and everybody's hating everything. These things are going to suffer massively. Okay. So don't delude yourself into thinking it's only going to go up forever, because it's not. And I'm saying this at a time when I'm mega bullish on the market. Okay. I just want everybody to be very, very clear about that. We're in the start phase of the final phase of the market cycle, where you've got 3, 6, if you're very lucky, 12 months of wild outperformance of cryptocurrencies. Okay, it might be shorter than you expect. It might be a little longer than you expect, but the end will come, and it'll come really, really fast and hard. Okay, so have an exit plan in mind. Okay, don't try to perfectly time the top. Try to just get enough out of it. And you have to sell, or you're going to lose it all.
Lark, you're perfectly teeing me up for the promo to buy our Milk Road Pro Black Friday discount right now, because we give you guys the indicators to know where we are. As Lark said, we're in the final stage of the cycle. And that stage could go for 12 months, could go for 6 months, and you don't know when. And so we give you guys the indicators. If you go pro, you get the indicators every week telling you where we are and how close we are to the end. And we let you guys know so you don't get caught holding the bag. Lark, thanks so much for joining us today. Appreciate your time as always.
Everybody, I got one final thing to tell you. You can't get caught with your pants down if you don't wear any pants, okay?
So you're going to have to explain that one to me.
That's it. We're leaving it there.
All I can think about is my 1-year-old son and how he's never wearing any pants. I'm like, yeah, I guess, he's got a diaper on. Maybe I should start wearing a diaper. Lark, thanks so much. Everybody, thanks for listening in. Have a wicked awesome day. As always, if you liked today's episode, please hit subscribe and make sure you follow us so you don't miss out on the next one. There's also a link in the description to our free 5-minute daily newsletter where we simplify crypto for you while making you laugh. And if you're willing to step up your crypto investing game, we're going to also leave a link for Milk Road Pro. You get access to our portfolio where you can see exactly what we are buying. This is your number one resource to help you invest successfully in crypto. One final note. This show is for educational purposes only, and nothing we say is financial advice. Investing in crypto or any asset is risky, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Thanks so much for listening in, my friends. Have a wicked awesome day.